The Brave Brother and Sister, based on Matthew 10:16-23. On a peaceful morning in a small village, a young boy named Ethan and his little sister Grace walked beside Jesus along a dusty road. They loved listening to his stories and helping everyone they met. One day, Jesus stopped beneath a large olive tree and called the children close. "My dear children," Jesus said with a gentle smile, "I am sending you to share God's love with others. But remember, not everyone will welcome you. Be as wise as snakes and as innocent as doves. Be careful, but always choose kindness." Ethan looked at his sister. "Why would anyone be angry when we resharing God's love?" he asked. Jesus knelt beside them and replied softly, "Some people do not yet understand God's love. They may laugh at you, tell you to stop, or even be unkind. But do not be afraid. God will always be with you." The next day, Ethan and Grace visited a nearby village. They helped an elderly man carry firewood, shared fresh bread with a hungry family, and told children about Jesus' love. Many people smiled and thanked them, but not everyone was happy. A few villagers frowned. "Stop talking about Jesus," one man shouted. Another said, "Go away, we don't want to hear you." Grace became frightened and held tightly to her brother's hand. "Ethan," she whispered, "what should we do?" Before Ethan could answer, he remembered Jesus' words. "Do not worry about what you will say. My Father's Spirit will help you." The two children quietly prayed. Immediately, their hearts filled with peace. Ethan stepped forward respectfully. "We are not here to argue," he said kindly. "We only want to share the love Jesus has shown us." Grace smiled and added, "Jesus loves every family, and he wants us to love one another too." Some people still turned away, but a little boy listening nearby walked over. "My father is very sick," he said sadly. "Can you pray for him?" Jesus smiled warmly and nodded to Ethan and Grace. The brother and sister gently prayed with the family, asking God to bring comfort, strength, and hope. As they prayed, more villagers gathered. They saw the children's kindness and peaceful hearts. Slowly, some who had been angry began to listen. When it was time to leave, Jesus walked with Ethan and Grace along the road home. "You were both very brave today," Jesus said. Grace smiled. "I was scared," she admitted, "but when we prayed, I wasn't afraid anymore." Jesus gently replied, "That is because God's Spirit was helping you. Whenever you choose kindness instead of anger, courage instead of fear, and truth instead of giving up, God is with you." Ethan looked at Jesus and said, "We will keep sharing your love, even when it is difficult." Jesus smiled. "Stand firm in your faith. Be wise in your choices, gentle in your words, and loving toward everyone. Wherever you go, my Father will be with you." The brother and sister continued their journey with joyful hearts, helping others, encouraging those who were afraid, and sharing God's love wherever they went. They learned that real courage is trusting Jesus, speaking with kindness, and never giving up on doing what is right. Moral of the story: following Jesus is not always easy, but we never walk alone. God gives us wisdom to make good choices, courage to face challenges, and love to share with others. When we trust Him and remain faithful, He will always guide and strengthen us.